The friendly old man you see in the KFC logo is called Colonel Harland Sanders. Many people think he was successful all his life, but the truth is very different. For most of his life, Sanders struggled a lot. He failed again and again. In fact, real success came to him only after he turned 65. His life story teaches us that it is never too late to win. Harland Sanders was born on September 9, 1893, on a small farm near Henryville, Indiana. His childhood was not easy at all. When Harland was only 6 years old, his father passed away. This sudden loss changed his life forever. His mother had to work long hours outside the home to earn money. Because Harland was the oldest child, he had to take care of his younger brothers and sisters. At a very young age, Harland learned how to cook. By the time he was 7, he could already make simple meals like bread and vegetables. Cooking became a normal part of his daily life, not a hobby. It was something he had to do to help his family survive. These early kitchen lessons later became very important in his life. Money was always a problem. When Harland turned 10, he started working on a farm. His job was to feed animals and help with small tasks. This was his first job, but because he was so young, he could not focus properly. Soon, he was fired. Even though it hurt, this was only the beginning of many failures in his life. When Harland was 12, his mother remarried. Sadly, his stepfather did not like the children. The house was always full of arguments and anger. One day, things became so bad that Harland and his siblings were sent away to live with relatives. This separation from his mother was very painful for him. Still, Harland did not give up. He worked again on farms to support his brothers. His daily routine was extremely hard. He woke up early in the morning to feed animals, went to school during the day, and worked again in the evening. At just 13 years old, he was doing the work of an adult. School was another struggle. Harland was not good at studies, especially math. He later said that algebra never made sense to him. Because he could not keep up with schoolwork, he was eventually expelled. This was another big disappointment, but he had no time to feel sorry for himself. He needed money to survive. At 16, Harland decided to join the U.S. Army. He was too young, so he lied about his age. For a short time, life felt stable. But after 1 year, the truth came out, and he was removed from the army. Once again, he was left with nothing. By the age of 17, Harland's life was full of uncertainty. Over the next several years, he tried many different jobs. Some he quit himself. From others, he was fired. Nothing seemed to work. His personal life also suffered, and his marriage failed. It felt like the world was always pushing him back. Still, Harland kept moving forward, even when success felt impossible. When Harland was 34 years old, something important happened. He met the general manager of a company called Kentucky Oil. This manager offered him a chance to run a small gas station. Harland accepted immediately because he needed work and a steady income. At first, business was slow. Very few people stopped at the gas station, and money was tight. Life seemed difficult again, but Harland had a special way of seeing opportunities. He decided to focus on the customers. He started greeting every person who came, helping them with anything they needed, and even giving extra attention to travelers. This small change made a huge difference. The gas station sales increased 3 times faster than before. Harland felt happy for the first time in many years. Just when things were improving, the Great Depression hit America. Money became scarce everywhere. People stopped traveling, and gas station sales dropped sharply. Kentucky Oil took back the station, and once again, Harland lost everything. He was over 40 years old and once more found himself without work. It was a very hard time, but Harland never gave up. In 1930, Shell Oil Company saw Harland's talent and experience. They offered him another chance to run a gas station. Harland accepted immediately. This station was on a busy highway, and Harland had a clever idea. He realized travelers might need food, not just fuel. He placed a small dining table in his room where 6 people could sit and eat. Initially, he served simple dishes like ham, country-style food, and string beans. Later, he added fried chicken to the menu. The fried chicken became very popular quickly. More and more people started coming, even from far away. Harland's small-side business grew fast. Soon, he opened a full restaurant next to the gas station with seating for 142 people. He named it Sanders Court and Cafe. Travelers no longer just stopped for gas. They came to eat. Harland's reputation as a good cook and businessman grew. But he faced a new problem. It took 30 minutes to cook fried chicken, which made customers wait too long. This could harm the restaurant's reputation. Harland thought carefully and tried a smart trick. Instead of frying chicken in a pan, he used a pressure cooker. To everyone's surprise, it worked. Chicken that took 30 minutes to cook was now ready in just 8 minutes. Customers were happy, and Harland's restaurant grew even more famous. However, in 1939, World War II began, and America entered another economic crisis. People had less money and traveled less. Harland's restaurant lost customers, and sales dropped. After struggling for years, in 1942, when he was 52 years old, Harland had to close the restaurant. It was a heartbreaking moment for him, but he never stopped dreaming. When the war ended in 1945, Harland planned to reopen a restaurant. He did not have enough money or help to do it alone, so he partnered with a friend. They opened a restaurant on a highway in Georgetown, Kentucky. This restaurant became a huge success. In 1949, the governor of Kentucky honored Harland with the title of Colonel, and from that day, he was known as Colonel Harland Sanders. Later, due to disagreements with his partner, Harland bought out the restaurant and took full ownership. The fame of his fried chicken grew across the area. People came from far away to eat it. Business was going well, but fate had more challenges. One day, a real estate agent offered to buy the restaurant land. Harland refused many times. Then, a new highway project diverted most traffic away from his restaurant. Almost 90% of customers disappeared, and sales dropped by the same amount. With no other choice, at the age of 65, Harland sold the restaurant for $7,500. He had only $105 from Social Security. Most people would have given up at this age, but Colonel Sanders had one final idea. He decided to franchise his secret fried chicken recipe and registered it under the name Kentucky Fried Chicken. Along with his second wife, Claudia, he traveled across America. They visited restaurants, cooked his chicken on the spot, and if the owner liked it, they bought the rights. For every chicken sold, Colonel Sanders received royalties. Sometimes, he even had to sleep in his car while traveling from town to town. By the time Colonel Sanders was 73 years old, his fried chicken recipe had become extremely popular. He had given franchises to more than 600 restaurants across America. People loved his unique cooking style, and his name was now recognized everywhere. However, because of his old age, he could no longer manage all the franchises by himself. In 1964, Colonel Sanders decided to sell KFC Corporation to a group of businessmen for $16.5 million. Even after selling the company, it was agreed that Colonel Sanders would remain the face of the brand. He would appear in advertisements and TV interviews, so the world would still see the smiling face of the man behind the famous fried chicken. Over time, the new owners of KFC changed some parts of the recipe. Colonel Sanders was upset because his image and name were being used for a recipe he had not personally approved. Feeling strongly about this, he filed a court case against the company. He wanted to protect the original recipe and his reputation. Not stopping there, Colonel Sanders, along with his wife Claudia, opened a restaurant under her name, called Claudia Sanders Dinner House. Here, he served the original KFC-style fried chicken, following his authentic recipe. This caused another legal challenge from KFC, but it was important to him to keep his cooking tradition alive. Today, the restaurant still exists and is the only non-KFC place authorized to serve the original fried chicken recipe. Colonel Sanders' journey is a true story of determination, hard work, and never giving up. Despite losing his father at a young age, being forced to work jobs he did not enjoy, failing in business multiple times, and facing the Great Depression and World War II, he never quit. Even at the age of 65, When most people think about retirement, he started a new chapter that eventually made him a global icon. From a small farm in Indiana to the founder of a worldwide brand, Colonel Harland Sanders' life teaches an important lesson. It is never too late to follow your dreams. Challenges, failures, and even age are no barriers if you believe in yourself and keep trying. His story reminds us that success is not just about talent, but also about persistence, creativity, and courage. Colonel Sanders' face is now a symbol of tasty fried chicken, but behind it is a life full of struggles, learning, and incredible achievements. This was the amazing life story of Colonel Harland Sanders. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something inspiring. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and support us on our journey. Stay tuned for more amazing videos in the future.